It's a world full of walls, so let's imagine windows instead. Imagine windows that connect. Imagine windows that protect. Imagine windows that unite. Imagine windows that open minds. Imagine windows, not walls. Eternia.
At Eternia, we are on a mission to create the best windows the world has ever seen. And that is why every window in our product portfolio offers uncompromising safety, world-class aesthetics, and a customer service you would have never experienced before. But that's not all. We want these windows to fill our spaces, to fill our homes, our schools, our offices, and fill these spaces with laughter, with lighting, and with a lot of inspiration. But can we do it without the piercing insights of experts like architects and interior decorators? People who have spent their lives studying spaces and how it affects our lifestyle, our feelings, and most importantly, how it affects our behavior. We value this insight, and that is why we bring to you Authentic Insights, a platform where we will bring to you renowned architects to share their life experiences, to share their expertise, and how they look at spaces while designing it. How can you increase the lighting in the house? How can you increase the space utilization in the house? How can you bring more of the outside inside the house while at the same time keeping it safe, keeping it protected? How can you increase the aesthetic of the house with small changes? So we want to bring to you all of these through this platform, through their experience and through their expertise. What we also want to share with you in this is how Eternia can make a small contribution towards enhancing the experience of your house. We encourage them to share their Eternia experience, their honest view of the Eternia experience, our service offering, the nuts and bolts of our product, and most importantly, our people, Tribe Eternia as we call them. In effect, Authentic Insight is our small attempt to bring to you everything to do with indoor and outdoor spaces at your doorstep, and as a result help you create spaces which you and your family can cherish and create a joyous life around. It is our attempt to create a world which is ready to imagine windows, not walls. Thank you.
Welcome to an exclusive IDAC webinar where creativity meets perspective in the world of design. Today's session, Designing with Perspective Using Doors and Windows to Enhance Interiors, promises to be an enlightening journey into the art of interior architecture. Our moderator for the day is none other than Mr. Pavan Suryadevara from Llyod Architects. Joining us are the esteemed panelists, Ms. Rupana Reddy from NA Architects, Mr. Nilith Paidipally from Inakrea Architects, Ms. Nehal Bazari representing Eternia Hindalco. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Dhurgai Kumaran from FHD Group. Together, our esteemed panelists, under the guidance of Mr. Pavan Suryadevara, will unravel the secret of leveraging doors and windows to transform interiors. Welcome to the Designing with Perspective, where innovation meets inspiration.
Good evening, everybody. Myself, Pavan Suryadevara, an architect based out of Hyderabad. Today, me along with a few friends from Hyderabad who are architects and interior designers, and also a manufacturer of the windows for Eternia, we all are sitting here together to discuss on a subject that is based out of doors and windows and its effect on the architectural designs and a better built environment. Firstly, I will introduce my friends one after other when we start talking about them. I would also like to say about what I believe about these doors and windows and its relation with the architectural design. And as of my belief, I think that doors and windows are very much an integral part of the architectural design. And the functionality and aesthetics of any space is totally dictated by natural light, by the movement, and also and these doors and windows on these all these elements form they decide and how the doors and how the space has to be designed. So I think doors and windows are the most and the primary most important elements and the features that has to be a part of this. And if an design or an architect would actually consider these factors, it's definitely going to be an amazing and harmonious living in that space, and also an excellent design to be taken forward to. Now, let us start the discussion on the subject. And before that, I would just wanted to introduce a few of my friends who are here. We're expecting one or two people to join in later, but right now, Dhurgai Kumaran is one of the architects, leading architects of an architectural firm based out of Hyderabad, and they're doing a lot of other works, the rest of the, not only Hyderabad, but other parts of the country as well. And then we have Rupana Reddy from Nehal Architects, who are also been in international design practice, who've been working in multiple different countries in their works. Then we have Nehal Bazari. She's our main lady of the evening, I could say, for the reason that is she's the one who requested us to be talking about the doors and windows, for the reason that is she's the manufacturer of the windows for now. So can I start my discussion first with Dhurgai? There are a few discussions we wanted to talk about the doors and windows, especially when it comes to Dhurgai's way of working, for the reason that is they always, Dhurgai's company always talks about sustainability. Their forte or their main subject I've been hearing from the past years to go is all about sustainability. I believe they are an architectural practice who have done a lot of work of late, entered into LEED certification wherever possible. Also, their promoters are doing a huge project all by themselves, which is again based out of sustainability. Dhurgai, a question comes to you directly is, what do you think? See, these doors and windows, we've been hearing it from years to go. But when you say sustainability, what is it that has to come in the picture with this subject in mind?
When you say doors and windows, in olden days, go to the old houses and things, then naturally, intuitively, they were really conscious about how much sun is coming inside, how much wind is going through the houses, and it is intuitively done. And now we are really go through a very rigorously understand why it needs to be I mean, in terms of size, the amount of opening, where it should open, where it should not open. And those aspects we really look into a very scientific manner. So that helps us in defining rather than looking in a very aesthetical point of view, but also in terms of functional point of view. Functional in the sense, because the windows are not only helping you to view things outside, but also help you to interconnect the interior to exterior. So this relation is making the habitable space conducive or not conducive. It depends on how much you treat that window or the opening. So in my opinion, we should see how the radiation happens in the openings, how the wind movement is happening in the openings. We should see how the glare is making the things, and how we can cut the critical angles of the sun. Those things we should plan. So then only that window is actually, if you look at the old houses, definitely all the houses are deep shaded. And if you look at any windows that is all under the shade only most of the time. Nowadays we do large windows, and we know we unnecessarily get the more radiation inside the house. So these things are more important now. Especially when you are an urbanite. Let's say you love living in an urban situation, our energy crisis is more, so we have to work with those aspects as well. So that's what I see windows in a sustainable aspects of the window.
So, Dhurgai, I'll come back to you on the word sustainability and the relation with the windows later. But let me go to the next question first. I mean, so this question is to Rupana Reddy. Rupana, I've known you from years. You have evolved very fast. Your company's done amazingly good work in the city, especially Hyderabad, and after that, now you moved international as well. More than 20 years, maybe.
Yeah, it's 22 years since we are in this industry.
Yes. So you've been, I'm sure you've been working on smaller to larger projects. When you started with, you did work on in flats, then farmhouses, then after that luxury villas, and now to high rises, and after that, and multiple different disciplinary practice is what you've been doing with and so, but this is something which you is definitely have something like doors and windows, which I'm sure you have crossed eras, I could say, an evolution of doors and windows from wooden to UPVC, then now to aluminium. Okay. See, what is the how is your evolution in architectural styles? What do you think? How do you think things have changed over this period?
Yeah. See, I'm in this practice for 2 decades now. So the day I joined this office to now, it's been quite a big revolution in doors and windows. The time I joined, whatever the houses we used to design, it's like the max size of the window used to be 8x4. That's the max. If it is a double hung, it's the biggest thing what you are giving. It's the best thing. Or otherwise, if it at the max, if it's a luxury villa, it's a bay window. For a luxury villa means we used to go for a bay window. That's it. Not more than that. After that, the heights right now at this present condition, what we are giving, we are taking for each villa 20 feet heights, and it's very slim line, and it's not easy for the window manufacturers also, because they have to calculate the wind and everything while designing the windows. But the thing is, because of the aesthetics and from the classical style to colonial style to the modern style, it's been the word minimalistic has been like the evolution of the word minimalistic and the meaning of it also has been changed a lot. So now it's like everywhere that minimalism has come. So now from wooden windows, the solid wooden windows, where we used to feel it's very warm for a house, to now very slimline aluminum windows, there is a quite sort of an evolution in the window sector. But with the time, as an architects and as an interior designers, we also need to change with time. And now before it was like the spaces are given, like only living spaces are given more importance. But now it is not like that. Even a washroom has given much more importance than a living space, because the priorities keep changing. So at the same time, the style of windows are also keep changing. Like from casement windows to sliding windows to wall to hung windows, all these things, like everything is demanded by the large sizes. Now that is the thing. And what I can say is, like before, in architecture, the designing used to be with the whatever with the walls and projections and all. Now, because here, even though FSI is not there in Hyderabad, but when you are taking high rise, it's like the designing is restricted to the type of windows, because everywhere you have a 2-meter balcony coming out, and you have a very much restricted for the elevation facade thing. So we are playing with the style of windows, shaping up the windows, or giving a different angular windows, something like that. So now windows became a part of the facade designing also. And as Durgesh said, before windows have given in a shaded places, it is inside. But now Windows has a major role to play when it comes to sustainability, because it is given a par with the outside skin. It is used as an outside skin at the facade level. So that's why when it comes to sustainability also and energy efficiency also, Windows has to play a major role. In the sense, like, you have a DGU windows where you have a 3-layered, or you have a gas filling, argon gas or any other gas filling. And then, the windows becomes, before it was like windows used to be only for ventilation. But now it is not like that. Indoor-outdoor connectivity became a major thing now. So windows are playing a major role in that. Hope I answered your question.
No, you're right. Very good. Thank you for that. And Nehal, I continue this conversation. What Rupana just finished is she was mentioning about a lot of changes in the window. The way it is done is we just not talk about the focal points or views, anything. It's about the movement. Okay. But tell me, as a manufacturer, what sort of revolution have you planned something in such a way that you have to look different than the rest of the windows? See, there's so many manufacturing companies around in the world who literally reaches us every day saying that we are the manufacturer of windows. But what is your specialty? How do you think you are different from the rest of the windows, if there is anything special? Okay, only wanted to know that specialty what you have.
Yes, surely. So, I think as a company, we have innovation at our core. And, we have done that not just in the doors and windows segment, but many other places as well. So I'll talk about something which we are working on right now. We have, some samples also in place, and which could be very exciting, especially, from sustainability point of view, which both of you spoke about. And, these are solar windows. So we are working on a technology where the glass panes of the window can be solar panels, but transparent. So imagine you're building, we are moving from a space where, people are wanting more and more of glass and less of walls, right? Which is of course good for us. But, with that much surface area going for the windows, energy is always a constraint. If those windows can become generator of energy, imagine the kind of revolution, we can sort of bring in. So those are the kind of unique or game-changing innovations we are our R&D team is working on as we speak. So that this of course, and we have established that it is possible. We have prototypes which we have developed already, and commercially viable as well, because that is also important, commercially viable as well. So things like this and it's not just us. I think, globally, these kind of innovations are happening on Windows. Other day I was watching a video where, Samsung is collaborating with somebody to have Windows as good as like an interactive screen where you can, you can watch the news, you can watch your Instagram, you can see the weather forecast, you can make it transparent and opaque based on what you want to see, you can change your scenery. So, these are the kind of things which are happening in the Windows space. So yes, on one side, we are looking at making the Windows slimmer, stronger, which Rupana spoke about, and that is the requirement. On the other side, we're also trying to develop things like this, which can completely change the game.
So getting Dhurgai into the conversation, you just mentioned about solar windows, solar door, where doors and windows, mainly with the glass is what you. Yes. But as of what I hear, solar also is a little destructive to the environment. Okay, so when you're talking about solar panels, that is something which people do of late. In European countries, at least, they have a lot of I've heard of a few more. I've even read through a few things saying that please try to avoid as much of solar panels as possible, because they're not sustainably, they're not good enough for the earth, for the environment. Dhurgai, what you heard about this, and what do you think?
It has a positive side and a negative side. For any technology to start with, you definitely have these two edges. What I think is there is a kind of way when it goes to, the problem is with the production side as well as when it goes to a waste side. It has to be managed. If it is not managed well, automatically our solar panels are definitely going to be a destruction to the Earth's condition, soil as such. But what I see is that you getting energy is one part of the story, but how much minimal you use the energy is another part of the story, right? So I mean, if you want to use the right light with the right amount of ventilation, or sometimes you do passive cooling, all those things possible within the window is possible, as well as through certain passive solar cooling methods. I mean, cooling methods are possible. So these energy consumption, if you bring down as such, so our solar requirement of converting them is reduced automatically.
So, sorry to interrupt you, Dhurgai, just that. First of all, why do you require even make a window solar when you have so much of built up area, so much of wall area left out which is exposed to the sun? Why don't you use those walls for the panel rather than putting it on the glass window? And that, we are spending, and the price also is increasing, right? Even if we have the price of the normal window goes to almost double or triple, shoots down to double or triple if you actually go with this kind of a solar panels. Do you think do you as a marketer, do you really want to use that kind of window?
I'm not keen on that. Even now, let's say, even for the let's say your SHGC, if you say you want a lower level of thing, your solar heat gain inside the windows, your lower level will be looking almost opaque from outside. Nobody wants to use that. That's why we fail in energy efficient buildings, because you always want in a house, we always want a clear glass. We try to keep the glass clear. These kind of things added up over where you exactly want the transparency, we are making it more opaque, either from outside or from inside, whichever way that happens. Or it is tinted with a darker color and make it more efficient, but the real purpose of that window is lost.
Rupna, so the luxury homes, do you think luxury homes do you really require huge, large windows, large glass openings, unless you're actually opening into a nice courtyard or to a backyard or probably towards where you can see vegetation? Okay, but if off late it's become so important to go for long, taller windows, is it for the interiors? Is it the exteriors? Because is it for the aesthetics when you actually start sitting inside, you want to see larger openings, again, cover them up with so much of curtains, so much of blinds, so double the product, or at the same time, taking up so much of heat inside. Again, you're using air conditioning to throw away that heat. Then again, high rises. See, off late, all high rises, you see it's only glass structures. You're going 60 floors, 70 floors, 80 floors, totally a glass structure. How do you justify that?
Yeah, the thing is, first of all, regarding the homes, high-end residential homes, in Hyderabad, we have a luxury of space. We are lucky enough as an architects or a designer to have a spaces in Hyderabad for the designing purpose. So what happens when somebody comes to us, they come with a larger floor plates of land, and the build-up is lesser in it. So we have an option of giving lot of vegetation or greenery or a landscape or hardscape areas. The thing is, we have what we have to keep in mind while designing is indoor outdoor connectivity, wherein when you open the windows you have a good views and everything. The second thing is, when somebody is living in that house, they should not feel bored of their interiors. So the thing is, the lesser the wall spaces, the more lighter the house looks. And there are less spaces of, filling up the walls or anything. That's the second thing, how we see it. And the third thing is, when you have larger windows, ultimately you have lot of ventilation coming inside the house. And it looks very airy, and the spaces looks larger. Then suppose if we are taking 20 by 20 room, it may look like 25 by 25 because of the openings what we are giving. Yes, I do agree that we are putting again a lot of layers on top of it. And again, one more thing is, we always do designing by studying the sun path. So south, we always restrict giving windows on the south and west, where there is a harsh sun from the west side, and south side also it's after midday. So that's why only we give mostly the larger openings are from east and the north side only. That way we are able to restrict the heat into the house, the first thing. Second thing is, according to Hyderabad situation and Vastu also, we have to leave land on the northeast side only. So that's one more advantage of giving larger openings on these two sides. And regarding this high rise, when it comes to high rise, lot of high rise only glass is given when it is used as a second skin. The primary skin will be a concrete only in high rise. Because of sheer walls, maybe nowadays nobody has patience and time, so they are all going for a free structures. So only the second skin is the glass. That way I don't think the heat generation will be more. And whatever whatever Nehal is telling, that solar with the incorporation to the windows is good in that aspect only, not like for the residential and all. That is what, as a designer, I feel.
Thank you, Pavan, for the question. So basically, the era of doors and windows has witnessed a dynamic shift in materials like wood, UPVC, and aluminium, each playing a unique and significant role. When it comes to wood, basically it's a traditional thing which we're using from centuries. And when you depends, like when you want a natural look and classical look to the house, you can just go with the wood, which has equal equal number of advantages, also disadvantages. Advantages like, so as I said before, it gives natural kind of look. And when it comes to disadvantages, needs proper craftsmanship, traditional craftsmanship, and maintenance. Like it might get rot, you need to repolish frequently, like in every year or something. When it comes to UPVC and aluminium, when it comes to the material, I like aluminium. I feel aluminium is better than UPVC.
Dhurgai, I will also ask you a question on high rises at the same time as villas. I believe FHD as a company does so many villa projects. And for one of the projects, I have checked your facades. So that what Rupana just mentioned about skins being used, the first skin being the concrete, second skin being the glass. So most of the projects, most of the facade projects, what FSD has designed was having a glass as a first skin. Then after that, you're going to have a fabrication sheet, which multiple punches in it as a second skin. Okay. Any reason why you have done it? Is it only for the sake of the facade looking good, or aesthetically you need to have light passing through in and out, or any specific reason where you want to cut down the heat, or cut down the light, or control the light?
Yes, it is two things. One is the glare issue, because offices, this is because of the history of office, how the office has been grown from a very solid construction to a very light construction, and then make into more glass, Mies van Brugge and people like that. We made it more lighter and lighter and more open and open. Because of that, we reached this point. We cannot blame the thing, but it is the way it has happened. So we have to see how to play with this in terms of light and shade, and how you shade the glass. So we use these kind of facade systems. One of our project, we used balcony as a tool to shade the glass behind, so that the balconies are the extensions of that balconies becomes a shading the unit, the below one. So we try to keep the number as low as possible using these kind of devices. How we can deal with the glass surfaces mostly. It is also to handle the glare, of course. How to reduce the amount of sun. The west side, if you look at any Hyderabad, this west, you will see that the west side is completely covered with that, so that there is no glare inside. So we can control the glare, of course. That is also more important aspect of office spaces.
And Nehal, I'm sure when you have meetings with your team, you probably would have a lot of discussions on the questions what architects keep asking you.
Yes.
Any question which you think, which is something which is futuristic? Probably a technical discussion what an architect had. They wanted to ask you a few things, and you went back to your desk again, spoke to your team, said that one of the architects asked me this one. And do we have a real answer to that? Anything that you wanted to let me know?
Yeah, so I mean, this was with Mr. Contractor, Mr. Hafiz Contractor. We had gone to meet him, and he was sitting on his famous desk with white sheets of paper. He drew something sketch for us, and he said that, what I want is, Eternia, which is part of Hindalco, to work with Ultratech, which is again part of the Aditya Birla Group, and come up with prefabricated blocks where there is there's a wall portion and there is window there, so that when it comes to large scale constructions, you actually don't have to install windows on site. You just pick these up with cranes and just put those blocks one above the other. Can you come up with something like this for me so that we can do these mass or large scale developments? So I think this was a very futuristic thought, which he sort of brought to the table. And yeah, the two teams are now working together to solve this issue. So that is something which I can recall, as a very futuristic topic, which did come up. Apart from that, I think one thing which always comes up is, typically whenever these slim and large windows are designed, the 4.5 meter or the 6 meter ones, what we see a lot of them asking for is, the reinforcements which are there in the center. Can that be made even slicker, or can that be made smaller? Because there's a lot of depth which goes into it, even though it's become sleek, but there's a lot of depth to provide the right wind velocity. So I think that's always a request which we get also, how can you make it smaller so that there is less of the obstruction? I think that is where we do have a partial solution in the name of Duranium. Which is different alloy of aluminium, which has additional strength. So that enables more sleeker design. And especially in large facades, that we can have very significant weight savings when it comes to using Duranium for the same wind performance. Whereas
Thank you,
even
Nehal. I'll cut you short on that one. Rupana, do you have a question for Nehal?
Not really. The thing is, the day before when I met her, I was like asking her, why can't you design windows for 6 meters? Hyderabad, there is a lot of requirement in Hyderabad for 6 meter windows.
I think the reinforcement probably answers the question. In a personal discussion we're going to have in the future, we'll have all that. Dhurgai, any question for Nehal?
I think if the window is part of let's say a ventilation system rather than opening and closing the windows would be a great advantage for the people to rather just opening that and making it happen.
Yes, I think those solutions are available, and we do offer them where there's like a small knob like ventilator where you can just open it slightly so air to flow in. So yes, that is something we can offer.
And finally, you have any questions for me?
Are you asking me? Sorry.
Yeah, you have any questions for me?
I think, what is it that you look for when you choose your windows? What is the one thing which is most important to you?
So first and foremost thing, the space windows are not my great this thing for the reason, except when there is a huge what do you say is when I can actually see outside, when it's a proper focus, or when I have a nice courtyards, anything of that sort is something which I prefer window openings, because otherwise I close all my windows. My drapes always done. I stay in a dark room as much as possible. Even now I'm sitting on a close. I close up all of the third thing. But that's I'm not the right person to ask any of your questions for this. Okay, but anyway, that's it.
Well, I think then I'll take it up as a challenge to change your mind on this.
Let us see. Thank you. Thank you, IDAC team. I think we're short of time, and thanks for that smaller discussion, smaller time you've given us for the discussion. And we look forward to interacting much more in future events to come.
Howling winds, leaking water, irritating noises. unwanted dust? Are your windows letting all unwanted guests in? Then it's time to switch to Eternia from Hindalco, an Aditya Birla Group company. Eternia are the world's only windows made with duranium. It is a specially invented alloy that enables Eternia windows withstand cyclonic winds and flaunt a stunning finish. Eternia windows are also Weaver certified. They are tested and certified in a globally recognized independent lab to ensure that they provide superior protection from cyclonic winds, the heaviest of rains, noise and dust. These quality factory-made windows come with India's first 12-year warranty on profiles and a 2-year warranty on moving parts, so you won't have to worry about anything even after years of installation. That's not all. Eternia windows come in unlimited colors and finishes. You can pick the ones that match your decor. Go ahead and find a window that will transform your home.